Because moving beyond that, Thiak has been known to be a very strong in fact, Lee Sin player. He's overwhelmingly powerful. Apparently need to ban this. That's all I've learned about him.
Well, we'll see if that holds true here in this game, because it has seen some bans already in this tournament. Ooh, I like that hover here.
I like that a lot more, though.
Click back through the draft real quick. Same bans as before. Kindred, Tom Kench, Misfortune, Dr. Mundo, Evelyn, Jax for the blue and red sides, respectively. That first pick, Alistar, that we're still waiting to see how that's going to pan out, but Lucian and Elise, and now Rammus hover just for fun, if for nothing else here for Thiak.
It shouldn't be funsies, it should be lock in.
I mean,
Rammus,
we've seen actually a surprising amount of Rammus bans.
It's moments like this you need to bring Spawn onto the desk so it can tell you all about why top Rammus is the best thing in the game right now. Let's just say it's similar to Malphite and leave it at that. Because Armor is apparently very good at the moment. Vayne is actually locked.
I mean, with all the strong AD carries, it kind of makes sense, but that is Vayne for White Lotus, who starts to play that more and more as the tournament goes on. Are we going to see it, though? Oh, he's here. Rammus, ready to go. Not sure if he's going to be jungling or laning. Seems like that is up to the teams at this point, but he's at least here, ready for this game.
Well, it's been banned twice against Latin America already, so very strong Rammus player is on that team. We don't know which lane they will choose for it, because believe it or not, Rammus is a flex pick. They have locked in the Vayne with that, of course. Very strong bot lane if they get the engage going in their favor. Alistar and Vayne, they can put down the hurt.
Yep, and you can see perhaps the other Rammus here, Malphite at least being looked at.
The other Rammus.
Also Kalista being harbored. I mean, that's, I assume your point is that if there's lots of strong AD carries, Vayne notwithstanding, which White Lotus now has in his hands for this game. Big tanks, really good against these high damage AD carries.
The difference being Vayne is the only real AD carry at the moment that is still good at taking tanks down.
Yep.
Due to that passive that he has doing silver true damage with the silver bolts, very effective still. Opposed to a Lucian who can't actually do that much damage against these top lane armor stacking tanks or jungle armor stacking tanks.
Well, no Bard ban, by the way. It does get selected by Dumbledore. A last second flick over there for Naru. But Malphite is the other pick, so could see a hilarious top lane matchup of Rammus versus Malphite, but may see something different instead. Right now, those picks are looking pretty saucy.
Yep. I want them so much to lock in a Soraka and prove that it's good, but they've already got the Alistar, so we'll assume that we'll just throw that one out the window till further notice. We'll just leave it hanging on the ledge. It could tip at any moment. They are looking, I'd actually prefer this the most if I had to choose out of anything. They've got a lot of physical damage and / true damage that will come out of White Lotus on that Vayne, and he is just a ridiculous Vayne. As well as now they've locked in a good team.
Yep, there's Rumble and Lissandra. Big double AP carries to round it out here. Rumble versus Malphite. Feels like a matchup we haven't seen in a while, but we've already seen it from CR. Here's Lissandra, real good.
A little bit sad. They should have went Lee Sin jungle, put Rammus top lane against Malphite, just to have the worst top lane.
That's what I was saying.
I
was like, how? I mean, it would be awful, but I would enjoy it.
Amazingly awful. That's just beautiful nightmare.
That's a good way to put it. Oh no. 25 seconds or so left now, as we are waiting for the final pick out of the Turkish side. Looks like a mid laner could be the one for Nara. He's got the choice of counter picks. He knows he's going to be playing up against the very aggressive Sia and his Lissandra. Seen a little bit of victory in the tournament. Kami, I think, had the only and certainly a standout game on the champion. We'll see if Naru wants to go back to kind of an old champion from this season.
Coupling the control mage style with a Malphite is always going to be very handy. It's also reliable wave clear, whereas the Lucian does need to use the ultimate, and you cannot trust an Elise, Bard, or Malphite to have any form of wave clear. So a good pick here for Naru, taking that Victor into the middle lane, which will be against the Lissandra of Seiya. Dangerous lane, but one's being very aggressive with summoners, the other one's a little bit scared.
Yeah, we've got a cleanse right now for Naru, so, I mean, has to shake off some pretty brutal ganks potentially, especially from the Rammus, because there is going to be jungle Rammus, which is certainly the standout bit of this composition here. We've talked about Thiak being an aggressive jungler, likes of Lee Sin, likes of Elise, and Evelyn, of course, banned away here, one of his best champions, according to himself. But I assume this is something else he's known for, as far as Rammus goes. This is a very aggressive jungler.
Yeah, definitely. It shows aggression. If he's got an Evelyn and Elise, Rammus actually fits that perfectly because of the way that you can gank. You can clear a single camp and then just disappear, come into any lane you would like because you are actually just Rammus and try and kill them. If it doesn't work, it's similar to the new Quinn on patch 5.2 too. You just rinse and repeat until it actually works.
No Quinn just yet, but Rammus will have to do for now. So you do see the two teams lining up and getting themselves out onto the rift. Pretty good lanes to gank for as well. I mean, Rumble, not so great, but that mid lane, whoa, man. We could see some dirty stuff happen to Nara, who's going to have to play very well to keep his team up here. I believe Turkey are even on games, only with 2 played here. So looking for a win to get over that hump and keep a positive record. 1-2 would not be a good start to their second day of play.
Definitely not. They need to come out guns blazing and actually win. I would say the bottom lane, most importantly, to be perfectly honest. They've got the Lucian and the Bard, and of all things, that needs to do well.
Well, let's get to it. Here's we are going to get onto the rift for our last 5v5 of this particular part of the tournament. More to come this evening, of course, but 1v1s after this. But for now, we have Latin America taking on Turkey as Dumbledore, the Bard that single-handedly carried his team to a victory, playing that very funky-looking Bard skin.
He is a beast. Dumbledore, especially when he has Morgana or the like, something that can make plays and carry. It's what we should and will see from him, no doubt. He is probably the biggest playmaker on this team.
I think so too, and his Bard has been excellent all around the world, and certainly here in Melbourne as well. As the RC, ooh, he's going to eat the binding, couple meeps there as well. He'll be okay as Dumbledore's just getting a scouting report with his body. Does have an award down there. But you can see both teams playing pretty careful here in the early game. No one going for any sort of early invade by the looks of things.
No, they definitely want to respect their opponents. In saying that, if you could invade a Rammus, might help you a little bit in preventative measures to not die to ganks. I think Malphite would be perfectly okay. The rest might struggle.
Well, maybe. Is Thaldron actually in the top lane? Waiting for his lane opponent to appear. It will be Elior on the Rumble. Nothing funny going on as far as summoners go, apart from Nara's cleanse that you highlighted earlier. But we are going to have standard lanes, which feels pretty common on this patch. Haven't seen anything resembling a lane, so I guess other than the C's lane cutting that we saw on day 1.
But that's interesting because Rift Herald is actually a big deal.
Yes.
Yet nobody actually wants to lane swap and prioritize that over a dragon or anything. In saying that, what they are prioritizing is kills and unlocking their jungler to get those kills instead of just pushing down turrets.
And they're strong junglers as well. Lee Sin and Elise are very good at neutrals, so kind of all makes sense when you look at it, but we will see Sia and Naru squaring off in the mid lane. So yes, pretty even so far. And again, things just kind of going to plan. It's going to be a relatively calm early game, I'll predict. But see if Turkey can leverage some of their individual skill versus the strong teamwork we've seen from the Latin American team.
And we called Rammus a fairly good jungler, but one thing to note is the jungling item that he did start with. It's not going to be very good for sustaining in the jungle, doesn't have that sustenance, but we'll get a lot of extra experience once you get that level 3 or 4 mark, and even beyond that when you get points into your taunt. Your ganks are so much more volatile that it's worth starting with this item.
I wonder exactly where he's going to go for a first gank. If he does go early, level 3 now is Tiak, the jungler. So see if he wants to roll into a lane right now just on the blue buff. Might be a donate, probably not though. As you can see, Elise looking for a level 3 gank as well, but Sia keeping it nice and safe back towards the turret. Bottom lane, Dumbledore is just leaving those health shrines all the way in the back as Holy Phoenix, nice and aggressive as always, tap in there with a dash and just do a bit of damage to White Lotus.
Even a predictive tumble from White Lotus on the assumption that the piercing light would come through did not, and Holy Phoenix saves onto it. So actually very efficient and effective trading here from this Turkish side. Not that it's pushing them out of lane.
Not yet, at least. It should be just fine to CS under turret. Try and keep the CS as even as they can, and then really come alive when this team has always seemed to come alive, as Tiak is going nice and aggressive into the jungle. Hasn't been spotted just yet. A little late on the ward there for Naru. Is going to steal away these Raptors by the looks of things. So no ganks, but counter-jungling Rammus to start things off.
That is definitely interesting. I don't think it actually causes
this is really cool. Nope, never mind, it's not. No, the setup was cool, but very well averted by Naru in his vision.
He also had Elise just waiting around the edges as well. So skirting on the outsides, did spot that his camp was being taken down. So all Naru had to do was walk in that direction. And we saw a random roll by as he was effectively saying, I stole your Raptors and I'm now going to mine.
Well, he can do it again, certainly if he wants to. Rammus, no shortage on ganks if that's where he wants to go. And see a very good mid laner to gank for, but can have to stay back a bit now. As Crystal up in the top lane this time around.
He's been spotted.
Has in fact been spotted. Nice warding there. You can see the blue pings out. Elior knows what's happening. And Thaldron's going to be pretty hard pressed to try and get any sort of gank off. And Crystal realizes it, not playing anywhere nearly as aggressive as he needs, and he's going to back away into his own jungle.
Yeah, he did stay for a little bit, and I like the way that Elior was playing that. because he was still there. He was still trying to say, well, I'm not warded.
Good E, does get away. Cocoon will not follow there. Crystal looks for another gank in mid lane, is unsuccessful. And Siak with that bonus experience is going off on the farm train. It's level 4 already, finishing that Skirmisher Saber for that challenging smite for even more annoying 1v1 taunt action.
Well, a lot of effort has been going in from Crystal to try and gank lanes at the moment, and they're never going to work if your team isn't capable of setting up for you. Top lane is a level 5 Malphite. You need to do all of the work yourself, but you're against a Rumble and you walk through a ward. You then go mid. Very predictable pathing, I must say, just going straight down the river to the next lane, not even doing a camp in between. You then look mid, but you've got a Victor with a cleanse that can't set up the W for you because Lissandra has the claw available. Very difficult to gank these lanes, but still a lot of emphasis on at least pressuring them out. Kind of backfiring if Rammus can make it work.
And I think Rammus does need to maybe make it work, because Nara is 10 CS ahead here so far against Lissandra, who actually had the first backs in mid lane here as well. We've got the parts of a Catalyst by the looks of things, so a potential Rod of Ages coming through for Sia in the mid lane, and that first Hextech upgrade already completed for Victor as well. So starting to get the very early itemization down.
If you can build Rod of Ages on a champion, it is highly recommended at the moment just because of how efficient it is when every other item gets nerfed in terms of...
That's true. Ooh, I'll say does get the stun actually. Nice bind there from Dumbledore. Just slaps the ground in protest. Holy Phoenix and Dumbledore going to continue pressing their advantage as White Lotus actually returning to the bottom lane with a BF sword, 10 CS behind. Wants to be a bit more aggressive. Holy Phoenix, that's not a good spot to stand.
Too many minions.
Yep.
No way they should be going for that fight. And Crystal was also there, of all places to be. Very smart on the assumption that Rammus is making his way down, and you would be exactly right.
Going in for it. Holy Phoenix in trouble. Flash Powerball taunt. Holy Phoenix gonna die. That will be first blood to Vayne, and Crystal does not get Arce. Will repel out towards White Lotus, but he is gonna go aggressive. Dumbledore gonna get him out safely though.
Taking the magical journey to safety, but also condemned towards it as he is lovingly gifted to escape right there from White Lotus. But pulling the trigger first, Arce find themselves a kill with the headbutt just before the Cocoon, knocking him into the Rammus, who flash taunts him. A very quick and easy kill onto the Lucian, but nothing further.
Speaking of, Sayer in the mid lane going to get harassed down by Victor's Chaos Storm. Nara just going straight in for the ult. He doesn't really need it now.
No, this is one of those scumbag Victor strategies where you don't need your ultimate and you're running cleanse in lane, so the kill pressure is sparing. What you do is you just place your ult down when it's off cooldown, pressure them out of lane, and try and roam and control elsewhere with your jungler.
That's exactly what he's going to do now. As we see Elior up against Thaldron pushing a wave in. Is up on CS, but very slightly. Thaldron should catch up quickly. And that's a pretty interesting matchup as well. As White Lotus.
There's no mana.
Way too far forward. Good juke. Gets out from under the Cosmic Binding.
Actually very difficult to execute on there from Dumbledore as well. The minions, the saving grace essentially of that situation, forces the Q out as soon as possible, and it was a very simple just juke at the right time and then be behind minions. So lucky, very lucky, because he had no mana, but he does get out.
Yep, makes the right play. Does get himself out of there as Elior looks to go back now. Overheats and shoves a wave in. Does want to keep Malphite from freezing it, so stays a little longer. As Naru blue buff now in the mid lane. We see blasting one out for Sia, so Rod of Ages fairly close. The Victor going to go back and buy himself a next item as well. Elior looking to do the same as well.
Is level 7.
That's
Biak is level 7 compared to level 5 of Crystal. So of all things, he's the one that needs to start actually presenting an issue, be a threat. He's got the challenging smite ready to go. The blue buff should be gifted over right now to Sia. I would argue you focus mid, force the cleanse out, and then come back again.
Yeah, we got plenty of CC. Cleanse is only going to stop one of them, so have to agree. That is going to be the blue buff over. We'll see if they do part 2 of the little act you described there. Right now, Shaq just doing a bit more jungling. I am also impressed with that jungling speed. He has just been power farming with the Rammus.
He really has been. It's a very effective jungle champion, especially once you start getting the levels. And the new jungling items are actually very good for getting the experience, because then you can power level. Once you get points into the armor, you're a fantastic jungler, and you can be absolutely everywhere you want.
Well, White Lotus not having a great time, but it's not too bad here in the bottom lane. Sia again getting ulted. Now we might have been chased further, but again, cleanse. Not the most pressure there, but it's just so annoying.
And this is why Rammus needs to at least gank mid, put some pressure, focus it, do something.
Ooh, bottom lane now. This could actually be bad news for Holy Phoenix. Arce does not have his flash. Goes in with a combo anyway. Magical Journey. White Lotus, great condemn. And I don't know if that's enough. Oh, Alistar takes it out first. Going to keep chasing Holy Phoenix. Pops down his exhaust and the ulti there as well. And Holy Phoenix is forced to use the culling. Now Dumbledore's in trouble as Thaldron has TP down as well. The Arc going to look for it. Does get the 3-man ulti. Arce, he's low, but Naru's got no ulti. Equalizer down as Elio comes down as well. He's going to flame spit it to zone them off as he hits the cocoon. The binding will be short. And now Seiya going to come in. Flash binding with the Naru. Waits for the cleanse. Flash out there. And it's not enough. Elio gets the kill. The Arc on the other side. Looking for Holy Phoenix's Arce. He's going to move in as well. And it's almost a massacre, but just one kill.
Theark is so tanky on this Rammus that he just sits there and tanks so many of them in the face. A fantastic engage and lovely condemn to follow it up. Puts all of this damage down onto the AD of Turkey. They're trying to pressure it out Dumbledore, but he's not going to be able to stop that dragon from going down. And one more time, the execution of that fight was brilliant by this Latin American side. It's one thing they're very good at doing. We've said that, team fighting, and we saw it there. Absolutely,
and Turkey did what they could, tried to collapse, but I find it very funny that Naru's lane strategy actually cost him quite a lot there in that fight. That was the perfect time for a Malphite ulti, Gravity Field, Chaos Storm. And he just couldn't do it.
It knocked up 3 people at the perfect moment, and he just didn't have it. It's a lovely strategy for laning phase, that's exactly right. But if you're against the team, running a teleport Malphite, just brashly using the ultimate is actually a bad thing if you fight immediately after and don't blow somebody up straight away.
Certainly is. And you can see Latin America will claim 2 kills as a result and a dragon. Get themselves a pretty slim gold lead, but a gold lead nonetheless here. They're up 500 gold in this one. Zeal now completed as well for White Lotus. He does like the early BF sword, I've noticed, but he is a big fan of the Static Shiv rapid fire cannon interaction.
Definitely should be.
Yes.
It is very silly once you get that ultimate going. Bonus AD, attack speed, and 2 energized passives on those items. It is great.
And we've seen him do it already in the tournament, I think 3 times now if you include this game. And
mind you,
very good on the Vayne.
I wouldn't mind a Phantom Dancer in this game. If you think about it, he's going to be trading with a lot of people and dueling. It reduces the damage that they deal by 12%. Would actually be quite good into the Lucian.
Uh-oh, Lucian speaking of, now going to get knocked into the Powerball, and the Condemn, and the Taunt. Absolutely brutal gank, and Holy Phoenix is done.
That is disgusting.
That was rude.
He just cannot move the entire time. By the time the stun stops, he's dead.
Oh, Gravity Field's good. We've got Elio here though as well. Naru trying to get out of it, gets locked up again, and the damage is too much. Chaos Storm will not follow, and a great gank again.
And this Latin American side are just controlling the entire map. Rumble making a rotation down just because he can, essentially. He didn't actually need to be in lane. Malphite doesn't have teleport or that much control over a Rumble once these 2 items are set for him. And that's just like effectively 2 lanes that are just one out of thin air.
And you can see Tiak, we wondered, is he going to go mid lane? Actually focus bottom lane, and that's twice now that Holy Phoenix has been subjected to absolutely awful looking ganks if you're on their side. So Rammus going to keep rolling forward, level 8 now, still level up of Crystal, and going to get only tankier from this stage.
You know, the beautiful thing about this entire Latin American team is that they all are getting the kills, and it's only onto the people who are going to be carries in the mid to later stages of the game. Rumble, 1-0-1, Lissandra, 1-0-1, and White Lotus on his signature Vayne, 2-0-1 as well. Rammus, every time he actually ganks, which was sparing, is effective.
And that's true. He's made sure the summoners are up. He knows exactly what cooldowns he has, and he's made every gank count. He's going to get spotted going bottom lane. But he will clear it out with the waters. White Lotus with the Static Shiv now done. Going to start farming away. Rod of Ages also completed about 40 seconds ago for Sia, so starting to get these mid-game items now. As even Thaldron's going back, going to get himself a Negatron Cloak.
Which, by the way, the best thing in that last Rammus gank was a headbutt condemn. That in the middle of the headbutt, he did like a arc and kind of got condemned into the wall as he was being pushed back. So a lot of synergy between these guys, you must say. Considering they're an all-star team, they've got it together extremely quickly.
Certainly have. Quick misspoke there. It's Elio, not Thaldron, and he already had a Negatron Cloak, so he didn't go back yet. I got trolled on 3 different fronts, but now he's now moving over. Thinking maybe a little bit more about using his ulti, but trying to find a cheeky pick as Dumbledore has also roamed into the mid lane. Got the Bard ulti at the ready. We've seen what he can do with it. Gonna try and get a kill here in the mid lane, but looks like everyone's gonna back away.
So this is another team comp looking at the Latin American one that is all about their power spikes one more time. Victor going for that defensive itemization. The top lane Malphite also going very defensive in magic resistance to survive laning phase. This can actually affect them very, very negatively if you want to look at the items that are being done by this Latin American team. The Rod of Ages is completed. It's ready to start stacking and scaling for this Lissandra. The top lane, all you really need is your Abyssal Scepter, then you're good to go. And Vayne is already in Vayne mode. Yep, and that 2-item spike now on the new patch is pretty strong. But over on the other side, Holy Phoenix has been ganked twice, but his CS is good. Still ahead there of White Lotus, and he's got an Essence Reaver already completed. So not too far behind, but it's really the snowball that you mentioned that could be the problem as Crystal pokes his head into the top lane, but Elior is going to be able to clear out this pink ward. Dumbledore also slapping it down, but it's a bait. Elior trying to bait out the ulti, but Tiak's going to come in. The King will miss. Crystal might have to run out of here. Oh, Spiderlings! Disappointing. Spiderlings are just, it's the exact same thing as Lee Sin. Everything Tiak seems to play is just affected by a Spiderling's existence in that jungle. So denying anything there is, they did get the pink ward. Elior did take that one away, and they were looking to counter gank, but Tiak, this Rammus, he rolls too fast. He does. He's going to go back to the jungle and farm, you have to think, as Naru will go back. Dumbledore probably needs to recharge that Sightstone, going to do the same. In fact, White Lotus is pushed up very far in this bottom lane. Got a massive wave or two crashing into that bottom side. He's still going. I mean, he was going to recall, and he's like, no, it's on the turret. Let's just do it. Gets one shot and leaves. No, that was definitely work. Yeah. Like, he tumbled towards it to hit it once. Doesn't work on structures. What are you doing? I mean, he's an aggressive player. I can appreciate the sentiment, you know. Sometimes it's about sending a message, Rusty. Is that what you define as aggressive, though? I mean, he's waiting for an item. I think he's waiting for a kill. Oh, he's waiting for creeps. Yeah. We all got tricked. Definitely wants an item to come out soon. I would imagine Berserker Greaves, and from the looks of it, Infinity Edge. Yeah, might have another Zeal. Has done this before again. He does like the rapid fire cannon, but he has kind of extra AD floating in. Whoa! Holy Phoenix could be in trouble. White Lotus wants it. He does have his flash. Oh, that's minions. Needs to get a little further in. Does find the Condemned. Damage is there. Dodges out the Bard ult. He is going to get the kill. Crystal, no! Cocoon gets blocked there by Arcee, but Dumbledore is here. Goodbye as Thaldron gets the shutdown onto White Lotus. Elior is here. They're going to try and get a return kill. Pop the equalizer already. Tiak coming around. Crystal, great flash. Good binding by Dumbledore. Very good disengage from this Turkish side. Tiak's not done. God. Goes straight in for the taunt. He's so tanky, but the damage just isn't quite there. It went in a little bit prematurely. Sei is here now, but so is Naru. They should be able to hold this turret. Holy Phoenix, there is nothing that he can do in this game at the moment. White Lotus destroys him. Arcee found basically the flash entrance into that lane, and it was just too easy to execute on. Sure, White Lotus may have hit a minion before it all started, but it doesn't matter when one auto attack does that much damage already. Yeah, now we're going to have Ladan once again move to a dragon. Number 2 now, and actually a decent clip. Asea's going to have to find a kill. They go into Crystal. Insta kill there by the ultimate, and Magical Journey's going to move them out. Naru does not have Chaos Storm, but they're still on this dragon. This is dangerous. Dragon will fall. Elior's going to try and fix it up. He does get it, but the stun will land, and Sia will die. I would say he was almost dead as well from that culling by Lucian. They don't look done. They should be. And they are. Dumbledore can't find it. No, they're not. I lied to you. Holy Phoenix coming back in. The Ark is a tricky target, but they're going to move in for it. Naru needs an auto. Does get it. And there's the kill. Well played. Knowing their limits of their champions, they do pick up one more cheeky kill. They do have White Lotus split pushing in that top lane while Staldron is middle, so they conceded that, and they don't actually get objectives from it, this Turkish side. They don't have a single dragon or turret. They haven't looked at the Rift Herald. Not yet. They might get this one as Staldron is slapping away at it, but White Lotus will at least make it a trade. Staldron is going to even it up, so 2-1 in turrets will be the score once Malphite finishes there in the mid lane, but Turkey is starting to catch up a bit. I feel like they're playing a bit better around these very quick team-oriented rotations, but it might not be quick enough. The pace of this game when Latin America collapses is absolutely brutal. This Malphite's built. He's gone for an Abyssal Scepter. There's already an Abyssal Scepter, and he could have finished any other magic resistance item that is halfway completed, but chose to go for the damage route with the Abyssal Scepter. I mean, they're in different zones of control when they actually have a team fight, but he's going to be against primarily White Lotus, whilst Helior and Seiya are going to be looking at the Victor. I feel like one's more efficient than the other. Well, let's see if it hurts him. It certainly is right now with White Lotus split pushing up in that top lane quite frequently. Seiya just has a bit of poke there as Crystal
trying to steal away this blue buff. Probably going to get it. Does have the smite and gets it away, but White Lotus going to make him pay. Pops the ultimate C is in here as well. Crystal's just dead. No, that's a great repel, but it might not be enough. Certainly is not. Oh my God, he lived, but not for long enough. The Bard ulti couldn't quite save him, and now White Lotus wants more. He gets bound. Naru's going to clean him up.
Dumbledore is hitting all of these bindings. He's going in, actually. They want the Lissandra.
4 people here. Saya can't get out of this one. Ultis herself. The heal's good. Might actually save him, but too much damage. Holy Phoenix with a kill.
A lot of damage done by Lissandra, but the numbers advantage well and truly in place from this Turkish side. IWC is enough to defend.
Gonna go back in for it. Does pulverize them up, and Tiak will threaten with a taunt under tower as well. They do have to back away. Rift Herald's there, but again, a good collapse, a good response from Turkey, but no follow-up objectives.
Dumbledore, does he have the journey? He does. Okay. Very good engage again by Turkey, but what are they looking for when they're doing all of this? It's not leading to an objective. They went towards the top turret, but it was solely to kill the Lissandra. They do get the Lissandra, who, by the way, dodged the Malphite ultimate just by ulting herself, and actually did an abundance of damage. Forces them away from the objective one more time. Every single time we've seen this Latin American side try and kill someone in a skirmish scenario, not just a gank, they try and take an objective. And
they're going to try again here. IWC trying to get the tower dive. Does see the ward as Elio gets poked off by Naru, who's low on mana, but ready with the wave clear. We also have rapid fire cannon completed for White Lotus. So that siege potential, which you don't normally expect from a Vayne, will actually sort of be there. Seen a lot of this as well. Lots of split pushing, but even when grouped, especially with the likes of Baron buff, I think Stress talked about a flowchart of siege for this side. So they can start putting that in place now that Vayne's hit that power spike.
Definitely. The dueling is also just phenomenal from this Vayne. Again, having the 2 energized items, nobody can contest you. I'd wager that Thaldron having an Abyssal Scepter has a chance, but not enough armor at the moment to really take it to him. White Lotus is basically unstoppable at the moment in a 1v1 and potentially in a 5v5.
Well, we'll have to see how that all eventuates, because Dirk's also getting tankier. Does have his Aegis completed, along with that Cinder Hulk. You got Leandri's out with almost the Abyssal done for Elior. So they're getting stronger as well.
The Rammus also having that Locket almost completed as well. Is at the Aegis, is going to, there you go, Locket, is going to be a big deal for the fights. We were talking about when they spike as a team, all they're waiting on now is Rumble to get that last item completed, and then they are good to go.
Certainly are, not far off. Either must be Elior. He does have the components completed. Dragon up in 1:40, and that should be their next objective. This might be one of the few games on this patch where we see a team really try and stick to that old, it feels like, win condition. IWC goes in, actually might pay for it. Doesn't ulti out. He's going to be safe. Face of the mountain's going to keep him healthy. But that was an unfortunate miss flash pulverize, one of the few.
Yeah, didn't connect with that one. Dumbledore almost committing with the ultimate. You could tell he definitely wanted to throw that one out. Naru is doing a whole host of damage at the moment, so a lot of respect does need to be showed by this Latin American side. There's definitely a real chance that Turkey can take this game away super easily. The gold lead doesn't exist.
No, it's so small here. I mean, 1,000 gold up at this point in the game. 23 minutes in effectively. Not too much here. And it is White Lotus that they're treading on, and their strong team, but Holy Phoenix, though, is in trouble. Equalizer's down. That damage is ridiculous, and goodbye, friend. Thaldron now the target, as he's going to get the slow with the harpoon. Naru caught out. Good cleanse. Flashes out there as well. And IWC with, just with the ulti, will barely save himself. Thaldron still getting chased, I believe, on the top, but he looks to be safely away with Elior bleeding low after that exchange. Holy Phoenix did not die without a fight.
Thiak is still rolling. He wants this.
He's looking for Dumbledore, perhaps. No, it's Crystal that he wants. Stun good there. Oh, it's not enough for Cadet. Will land after a great ulti there from Bard to prevent the chase from Rammus. But they're kind of on the wrong side of the map at this point. Will get spotted, but the magical journey to safety.
This game is just one big skirmish, and it'll hit the point where we get late game, and the skirmish will determine the game. That is essentially what is happening at the moment. The only exception is that dragon control that we're seeing out of the Latin American side.
Yeah, mid lane turret not there, unfortunately. White Lotus couldn't do quite enough damage to it, but the dragon is back alive. Health bar's a little low. Some of the members of the LATAM side. So it might actually be Turkey's time to take a dragon, and what a time to stop the bleeding as well. That will be theirs. Going to deny that third key dragon away from Team LATAM.
Actually a very big deal now I think about it. The first dragon is a very big scaling dragon as well. I'm honestly most surprised that nobody looked at the Rift Herald like it was an objective on the map. they're all focusing the Dragon, and you're right, it is like throwing back to an older patch where it was the entirety of the focus. Moving into, say, the 25-26 minute mark, though, the Baron does start to become a very big deal.
Naru getting ulted there by Sia. He's going to try and follow back in. Victor's damage, though. Very, very good. Sia wants it. He flashes in. Going to pay for it with a death ray. Naru wins the 1v1.
Completely outplayed right there, just from having the shield available. It was overcommitment from Sia. Thought he could take the 1 versus 1, had the Ignite available, and did throw that one down. But a Victor with this much ability power has a gigantic shield, and you have to all in at the one moment before it's available a second time. You can't poke and expect to kill the Victor.
And as a result, Naru gets his 3rd kill of the game, and he's getting quite strong at this point. Does have 2 upgrades on the Hextech core, and the Abyssal with a big item coming of his choice there with that Need to See Large Rod. Ooh, Tiak does get spotted. Trying to be very sneaky, but Dumbledore spots him anyway. Lots of aggressive Baron side warding here as Turkey will also steal the blue buff. That's a big boon to Holy Phoenix.
Tiak's looking. He doesn't actually find a chance. Holy Phoenix overstayed his welcome by a little bit there, kind of taunting the Rammus to try and come and get him.
Helior actually might. No, it doesn't use the ulti. No vision either. They're going to go mid instead, try and take that tower out. They've wanted it for a while, but they haven't quite been able to claim it. But this should be pretty simple, given that the health bar is, yep, non-existent. White Lotus hits it 2 times and it dies.
Yeah, and Holy Phoenix was busy at that red buff. Didn't really have enough health to speak of to help defend it. Naru was also kind of recuperating from a prior event. So they do get a cheeky turret. Very easy for them to take that one down. The gold lead from that, not actually stretching that far at all, is it? There you go.
Yeah, Malphite trades, and the gold lead's really just very even at this point. About 1,000 between the 2 teams, but not too impactful here, 26 minutes in. We do see that Holy Phoenix has actually deviated from maybe the standard Lucian build for Essence River, which we certainly expected the first item, but matching Bang with that rapid fire cannon instead of going for something like, you know, Infinity Edge.
It's very interesting that he's gone for that build. Static Shiv is generally the staple that you'll go if you're going to go a build out of Zeal, but it actually does have some merit to it. It's a longer ranged auto attack, which will work quite nicely against an Alistar, Alessandra, and a Rumble who controls zones, as well as a Rammus who's running at you. If you can actually attack him instead of explicitly running away, it will come in handy. It's also single target damage, opposed to clearing waves, which he does not need to do.
Certainly true, as he does have a BF sword added in as well, so building in towards an AD item. We can see a trap being set though. Thaldra going to walk not quite into it, does pop down a pink one, but it will be cleared to the Latin American side as Dumbledore pops that Frost Queen's Claim. Been a surprisingly popular sport item, using those ghosts to get a bit of vision. It feels like the game is kind of dragged into almost a stalemate at this point. The kills are quite even, the gold certainly is, and even those towers exactly even with just the dragons that have also now been stifled by the Turkish team. But that Latin America, for the first time in a while, just don't really know what they want to be doing. They're not split pushing like we've seen them before. But the 5v5 is just not coming for them.
Well, the one big thing that Yamato said, you know, these guys are decisive. If they pull a trigger on a fight, they will legitimately just go all in on that fight. But we're yet to actually see the moment where they can effectively do it. Very difficult to do against the Bard and a Malphite who can turn that completely on its head, as well as the Victor who has Cleanse in this game, which I think was very smart of him to do. It denies the Rammus engage with Flash, and it also lets him get to safety and put down damage, which he is doing a whole lot of.
Oh, Tiak going to hit the speed train for even more Powerball speed, but not quite there yet. We have a Bloodthirster actually completed for White Lotus. So not going for that crit item, wants the actual defensive item, really. Needs a bit more life still, wants to have these fights go nice and long, dish out maximum auto attacks. Again, feels like we've had carries sitting on 2-3 items for a while now. Maybe Seiya is sort of moving into his 3rd item, and that's what they're waiting for. But Naru with a death cap completed, and a Rylo's up for Crystal as well. Malphite also getting tanker, and Holy Phoenix not doing any less damage anytime soon. Feels like Dragon up in a minute 25. Something needs to give here.
Yeah, something has to give at this stage in the game. They're just going to sit here and clear waves, and eventually they will make a mistake, and here it is.
Oh, Dumbledore's good ulti, finds 2 there. Malphite needs to line it up, but no, Arsen's going to go back in for the counter engage. Huge Rammus knock up with the Powerball, and the first kill comes in onto Dumbledore. Diakto is very low, and will force Naru's ulti. Thaldra, huge ulti, didn't have to use it before, and they melt through the rest of the team. White Lotus, low health, being chased down by a Malphite. Does tumble out, might be just enough range, and it is. but that was a huge win for Turkey.
White Lotus is going to stay alive, as is Arce, but they're going to be able to force the Baron off that engage. Very, very well done. This is what we were talking about from all of these teams at the IWCA. If they have a Bard, they can pull the trigger. Arce is looking a little bit aggressive right now, though, like he wants to poke his head in.
Oh, trying for the steal. No, punts out Crystal. Wants something. Does not have his ulti, though.
He can strike a pose for them, basically.
Certainly did. White Lotus going to get zoned out as well. That Baron will go to all 5 members of Team Turkey.
That is exactly the tipping point that we were looking for. The question from here is...
Oh my god.
Wow.
Thunderlord's decree, though.
I decree Vayne dead. This engage from Bard is good, and the best part about this is Thaldron doesn't pull the trigger. He knows that they're going to by default run away. Dumbledore gets decimated, but his ultimate is already done. He's done his purpose, he's achieved it, and that countering it, the re-engage right there from Thaldron turns the entire fight back around. Naru's damage, when he's given a silver platter, essentially, of where to aim, is through the roof.
And I mean, that's why teams like Malphite, to be perfectly frank, just such a strong ultimate there, and he does lane it effectively. Turkey now take Dragon number 2. Probably an afterthought as far as win conditions go in this particular game, but still nice to have a little bit of extra stats, as they do have their Baron buff already to try and push down some of these turrets and really get this gold lead going. They're up in gold, 1,500, not a massive one at all, but certainly ready to try and keep that growing.
Now, at this stage, Victor is just so big that he can solo split push a lane wherever he would choose. He could also group with the team after split pushing that lane, and right now they've just got the rotation around the map. Very predictable from these guys, but they've also prioritized seemingly blue buff over a turret.
Trying to get vision around this jungle, but do take the tier 2 turret. 4-3 now as far as that metric goes, up in favor of Team Turkey. Still strong carries here, so Turkey can't be reckless with the way they want to play, but
he's taunted.
Did he go through taunted?
Yeah, he went through the entire journey taunted and then walked back towards him. That's great.
Holy Phoenix just going to get a little blue ward there. See the Baron buff now being transferred to the mid lane. And they'll continue their siege. Seems like tier 2 turrets are the order of the day here. And pretty realistic to think they'll get all 3 here for 6 turrets. Holy Phoenix was actually decent siege, especially with Baron. A rapid fire cannon helping out just a bit here.
Now, 2 of the members of this Latin American sled do have their flash available to them, the Rumble and the Lissandra. Lissandra can still engage a fight, and we know that Saya is very much capable of doing so. The question is, though, without the Rammus with flash, without the Alistar with flash, and especially the Vayne, how do they live through the re-engage of this Turkish side? They are just starting to pull further and further ahead, and the Turkey engage is phenomenal.
Certainly is, and we saw that in that big team fight that won them the Baron, and has now got them up almost 5,000 gold in this game. They do have to go top lane. There is an absolutely monstrous wave was pushing up there. You can see Holy Phoenix going to move in to clean that up, and they will back away from their push. Seems that Baron buff going to wear off fairly soon if they have that worn off already. So only the 5 turrets. Not going to take 6 for those 3 tier 2s, but plenty of damage done here. And a nice big lead for the Turkish team to lead in as they're going to try and close out this game after, honestly, just a bit of a misstep and a great team fight under that tower.
That's right, the lead does stretch further from that Baron buff. So an effective Baron usage all around just to give themselves a little bit extra in gold. It's from this point where Turkey, being a team in control, should actually look to end the game through a very strong push in A lane. Control vision, work around that vision, and don't completely ignore that you place the vision down like we have seen other teams do. If you place it, work with it.
Yes. Very simply, yes.
Yes.
So my brain processed that and was like, oh, he actually just said something very intelligent but very simple. Thank you. My brain needs that at this stage of the day.
You're welcome.
Turkey now going to move through and clear those pink wards, speaking of vision. Finding not going to be there, though, onto Tiak. As Dumbledore is doing what he can. In a magical journey his way out. It's Holy Phoenix.
Well, Saya's in.
Yeah, aggressively in. Saya's going all the way in. The White Lotus off to the side. Getting onto Thaldron, but the ulti there from Dumbledore is going to keep it tricky. Arce going to go in, but he just misses in. And Holy Phoenix, he was late. You could see where they wanted to go in. But this might be the re-engage point. Arce is low, is forced to flash out. They should be able to chase him down here with what they've got. The ulti's going to wear off soon. Does wear off just about now, and he will die to Crystal.
They pick up a very easy kill. Saya over-aggressively with the engage has just gone in again.
Oh, double dodge! He's going to die to White Lotus. Tiak off to the side, actually caught up here. That's a lot of damage. What? And that Rammus cannot survive.
Holy Phoenix damage is just ridiculous. Rammus used the ult though.
Did finish that Infinity Edge as Saya could get stunned up here. Good on from Thaldra, finds both the carries, and they'll take them out here. He will die for it. Oh no! Does live there with the heal as Holy Phoenix dives straight in for the ace. He won't get it, but he might as well. He does.
One more time, Thaldra. This Malphite, yet again, saves his ultimate. He got engaged on and repeatedly battered and bruised down. Very nice pulverized, but the game should still be over.
He's going to try, but he doesn't have an ultimate. And that's going to be an ace as Holy Phoenix gets his 6th kill of the game. That IE tipped the scales too far forward, and Turkey will finish with a strong win against the Latin America that was on the rise.
Definitely was a strong showing from this Turkish side, and Latin America, they came in with their guns blazing. They did have a very strong fight, but they just seemed to remain stagnant. They stopped their advances. There was no real aggressive plays from the Rammus. From that point, they just lost any chance of a snowball, and all it took was one team fight.
Yep,
That's exactly what happened.
Exactly. The game stagnates to a point. You get into a bit of a stalemate, and then one mistake or one